Happy 4th of July. You know, this is the birthday of America. And what a wonderful country we live in. I'm a flag-waving patriot, and I think many of you are too. Whenever I think of the 4th, I think of the bravery of the founding fathers in 1776 who signed the Declaration of Independence. You know, they expected to be hung for treason. They were going to fight a war against the most powerful army in the world with a bunch of untrained civilians. Yet, their courage and vision reflected in these inspiring words by Thomas Jefferson. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You know, through their courage and great sacrifice, they ended up defeating England and created a nation like no other then or now. You know, after the war, it took those founding fathers 4 years to write the great Constitution that we have. Listen to their opening paragraph. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish this Constitution of the United States. You know, anytime I get to thinking my vote don't count, I think of the words, we the people. We are a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. You know, America is going through a tough time right now, but don't lose faith. We're going to come out of this more united than ever. May God bless America.
You're a grand old flag, you're a high-flying flag, and forever in peace may you wave. You're the emblem of the land I love, the home of the free and the brave. Every heart beats true neath the red, white, and blue, where there's never a boast or brag. But should old acquaintance be forgot, keep your eye on the grand old flag.
I can remember a long time ago, 4th of July had a special meaning to all of our lives in Alton, Illinois. That's across the river from St. Louis, Missouri. And I was the conductor of the municipal band in town, and we would always have a parade on 4th of July. We would march from uptown Alton to the cemetery. And we would always play into the cemetery, marching about 1.5 to 2 miles. And we would always respect the grave of the gentle giant. The gentle giant's name was Robert Wadlow. Robert Wadlow was the tallest man in the history of the world. He was 8 feet 11.5 inches tall at his death. And so that was part of our 4th of July celebration. We would then go home and make ice cream.
When I was a little girl, we lived in Denison, Iowa on a farm. And every 4th of July, my parents and all their friends and their kids would all come out to the farm, and we'd have a great big picnic. And the big thing to do was to make homemade ice cream. So we had one of those old-fashioned ice cream makers. Everybody got to help, and towards the end it was always the fathers who had to finish the cranking. But we all got to enjoy the wonderful homemade ice cream and then sit in our yard. And over at the fairgrounds for Crawford County, we got to watch the most wonderful fireworks show. So it was always a great time.
Growing up as a child on an army post, I grew up with a lot of pageantry and the tradition of the military with the reveille and taps as part of our life. And I think the memories I have best of the 4th of July were in the later years after my father retired. he went back to his roots in North Dakota and Minnesota and bought a lake cottage in Minnesota. And he carried on those traditions of having the flag put up in the morning and the flag come down at night. But as my young children were growing, he had them out there with him doing those routines every day, and they all remember that so fondly. The 4th of July, he would go to North Dakota where you could buy fireworks, and he loved fireworks. So our 4th of July were always an extravaganza of fireworks. And on the lakes, people all around the lakes would have their own family fireworks. And of course in Minnesota, western Minnesota, summers were unpredictable. Sometimes it was warm and sometimes it was cold. So I remember years when we would bundle up with blankets and sit in the lounge chairs and watch the fireworks, and other years where we would just sit out on the grass and watch the fireworks. On the 4th of July morning, the tradition on the lake was to have a boat parade, and all the people on the lakes would decorate their boats with flags and bunting, and sometimes they'd have a theme, and the families would get on their boats and ride around the lake in a parade, and we'd stand out on the deck with our bunting on our deck and of course our flags up and watch the boat parade early in the morning every 4th of July. So those are some of the traditions, my life traditions, that I remember.
I'm proud to have served in the U.S. Air Force during the Korean War, but I ended up in Germany and England and was proud of being in the Air Force.
July brings me memories back 65 years ago and not quite 50 pounds ago. I was just a young 17-year-old kid, just graduated from high school in Rhinelander, Wisconsin, and here I find myself sitting on the back of a convertible. I don't know why, chosen Miss Rhinelander of 1955, and I'm sitting there in this beautiful white gown that I was wearing, and balancing. You got to sit up on the top of the back, they roll it down, and I am holding on for dear life. I thought sure I was just going to roll backwards off of that thing, and you're going down and you're doing your little wave that you do. It was so much fun for a 17-year-old kid, And the reason I'm thinking about it is my son just went into the Rhinelander Daily News and pulled up and sent me the picture of me riding in the convertible. And at the top, the newspaper had put, my name was Joan Werbellis then. It said, Joan Werbellis chosen Miss Rhinelander, fireworks tonight. And so we had a wonderful, what a beginning, 65 years ago. Where did it all go? But anyway, God bless America. We love it.
For both of us, the 4th of July started as kids with fireworks. You know, what kid doesn't like fireworks? And we enjoyed it. In fact, from my house, I could see it from the fair park, and we watched it every 4th of July. And then we got a little older, and the folks took us to the parades all the time. In Wisconsin, a lot of 4th of July parades. And we still go to those in Eagle River. And we just enjoyed it. But now, getting a little older, you realize what 4th of July is all about. And for us, it's just living in this great country. Freedom, that's what it's all about.
That's for sure.
And the people that keep us free, we appreciate them. That's 4th of July for us.
Our Liberty by Miss Puff. Liberty finds its home in the heart of every woman and man. It's sought from the highest peaks right down to the ocean sand. Something within us stirs as we see our flag raised high. Our pride grows deep as across the blue her colors fly. This land that God has given us through those who fought and died, so many came home wounded but never lost their pride. They rose up early ere morn in the to the sound of bugle call, and when their name was called out, they stood so straight and tall. So proud we serve the country where everyone is free. Yes, we have a common bond in this land of liberty. From the fertile soil of the farmer who toils Midwest land, to snowy caps of mountains where the view is always grand. We can travel far to many lands and see the lovely sights, but there is nothing like America seen on starry nights. Let's celebrate this freedom through years of war 'twas won. From the rising of the morning to the setting of the sun, this 4th of July is much more than just a holiday. It's a day of remembrance, and thank God we belong to this clay. From the youngest generation to the oldest centurion, it's a place where we can prosper and join hands across the land. Let the fireworks and the music lift your spirits high and celebrate this country, for it is the land we love.
Stay tuned, as Royal Oaks will be playing that grand old movie, Yankee Doodle Dandy. This is Fred Dorgan again, wishing you a happy 4th of July.